Let there be light, and there was light. Words of the said God. Oh, I must introduce you to the new Mother Eve. Okay, just one moment. Yes, because Mother Eve has gone through another transformation. If you are new to this channel, well, this is the template that we work with, and this is a new face for Mother Eve. Mother Eve, we are talking about scriptures in the Garden of Eden, of course, from the Holy Bible, and specifically to the King James Version of the Holy Bible. So there we are, of course. I hope you like the new Mother Eve. Of course, she's with hot red lips and showing her symbol of enlightenment. And that's the enlightenment from eating of the fruit of the tree of life, or the tree of good and evil, however you want to term it. But it's that to have this enlightenment, we need to have both experiences of good and evil. This is where we get to understand the essence of life and the essence of our being. So this is the teaching of Mother Eve as well. So Mother Eve is teaching us about how to make sense of our world, our being, and our purpose as well. Our purpose is to getting to know the God spirit within us, and this is why we need both polarities. Now, if we look for the scriptures from Genesis and from creation, we will see that there has been the polarities has been from the onset, we could say, when there was darkness and there was light. So it's not a new thing about Eve having ate of the fruit. That was a symbolic experience, we could say, of enlightenment, of acknowledgement of life, the tree of life, the goodness, and what we call evil. And it's really on all of this, but it's on the same cycle, if you like. So it's a circle or cycle of life, and we are different paths, and where we make different sense or meaning of those experiences with what we call evil and what we perceive as evil, what we have called or we have named as in the Adamic form, or how we perceive our world. So this is really important. In fact, I could see Adam in the back looking at me. Let's ensure that both eyes are really looking. Of course, his third eye is open as well, just as Mother Eve's. And we also have the third eye on her. Now, this is really another way of looking at the third eye, the external way. But isn't it a sweet way, what we call the sweet eye, but basically we know that it is generating nice feeling and good feeling. So back to Mother Eve in the garden. So we have the symbol of Mother Eve having ate of the fruit of, oh my bracelet has fallen, so whatever symbol that is or significance. But this is what we are meant to be learning. Now I'm getting a feeling that I need to be going over a lot of the videos that I have done in the sense of the content, to really get the essence of where we are at, because I don't really feel that we are anywhere we are not meant to be, but I just feel we are meant to get more clarity so we can attain more conviction to where we need to be on the spectrum of life. Meaning the spectrum of life of where Mother Eve, one of the 14 gods, or Mother Eve who encapsulates the 13 gods, let's put it this way, the other 13 gods, and Mother Eve is the god, the darkness, that which was before anything and which there was movement and the waters, and that which is before any event takes place. So when the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep was Mother God, Mother Eve. We are, especially on the feminine, the divine feminine, that's the depth. We are deep. Okay. And so basically, we see that it's important for us to understand our makeup, our depth, our mission. When Mother Eve said, "Let there be light," and there was light. But of these lettings that Mother Eve said, which were 8 lettings, and so these 8 lettings, the last one is, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." And that is where we are at. But I'm feeling that we need to go back into learning about these characteristics of the gods. I'm continuing to say the characteristics of the gods so we can know exactly what man we are creating in our image after our likeness. And even if we did take the stance of the God, which was, I believe, the Adam God in this sense, or the made God, and even if we did take that position of making man in our own image and likeness, it is important that we understand who we are, what our image is in this sense. And like it is said, and God, well, we are saying, like, it wasn't the made God, this is Mother Eve saying, "Make man in our image after our likeness." Now, I will draw on to the word "our." And as I continue to say as well, I feel that the teaching of Jesus Christ is really on par with what Mother Eve represents in the earth. And when Christ gave his teaching as saying, when you pray to the Father, or when you pray our Father. Now there we need to also pay attention to the meaning of what Father would be in numerical value, numerical sense, equally as mother. But even on the spirit of sound value, or the spirit of sound, as Mother Eve was saying, we can see that father would kind of mean that which is further, and mother would mean that which morphs in a sense, what we, like a moth or a butterfly. Of course, it's not spelled with PH, but Spirit of Sound Mind tells us mother is that which morphs, which brings, which culminates, which harmonizes. And of course we see that because the child is in the womb, and it beats one with its mother, and this is a 9 months, and then another further whatever you breastfeed, and the nurturing aspect of these two entities that seem inseparable, because where you see one you see the other. So we are talking in terms of that. So there we are talking about Mother Eve really telling us now that it's that we need to be understanding, or needing to know what it means to make man in our image after our likeness. So I was saying the word "our," which is OUR. Now, there's something very phenomenal about the word "hour," as in the word of time as well with the H. It seemed like the H before the time, HOUR, would indicate that there is an act, like like a ladder. The H is like a ladder. But another thing I found out or observed with this H here, it's also indicative of saying the I, we are the I, but you are also of our, which is plural here. So this I, because the H is really like an I that has turned clockwise or anti-clockwise, you could say, right here, this H, and it's really an I. So it has the numerical value of 8 here, but this has the numerical value of 9. But I have made presentations showing how the 8, because if we had the word I, for instance, which I'm going to do here, EYE, has 575 equals 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. So we can see that the word I, which is also a letter, the letter I, like we have the letter A or I. So like the letter I, it also has the same numerical value as 8. So here 8 is basically like an introduction of ourselves. And when Christ also speaks of, say, our Father, but the first letter is on here, I believe that Christ was connecting with the I here, as in acknowledging the I of us, with our I that is further up here, which is in heaven. And really grateful and thankful to get in this, because I will say that I'm doing this intuitively, and when I started explaining this, I was going, so I had something else in mind, but it's like the gods, which is the our Father, the Father who is in heaven, which is the third eye that's in the heavens, the pineal gland, the kundalini, the Christos, or the crystal, or the serum, the sexual serum that takes rise, that from the spine, from the base of our spine to our spinal cord and up, that ignites the chakras. I believe that is what the prayer of the Our Father, who art in heaven, who art, there's an art to it. It's ART. And there's an art for activating the kundalini. There is an art for opening your pineal gland, for activating that pineal gland, for the third eye to be able to see. This is where, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy name, meaning as well, the word name is also the word, it's got amen. This is what we have got with, but it's also a man. Hallowed be thy name, which is NAME, but we have, sorry, I said a man, but it's also amen, which is what is called amen. So it's man, but it's a man, meaning a species of man, which is what we call ourselves here. So hallowed be, there's an amen, there's a man, there's and that which is in heaven, forgive us, meaning go before, because the third eye can see further than we can see with these naked eyes. So this, as I say, was not the sole intention of this presentation right here, but as I'm going along with the spirit, I am following that which I am guided to do. Now I'm back to Mother Eve, and as we say, well, I'm going to keep this short. And Mother Eve is now, it's like she's firing her words, because Mother Eve is about words and the mouth which projects, I think it is 17 or 14 functions, and I had got a list of the functions of the mouth, which let me just see if I've got it on here. But there are functions like sneeze, breathe, eat, yawn, drink, speak, of course, and taste, laugh, smile. There's so much that we do. We sing with the mouth, we yawn with the mouth, we laugh, and maybe repeating these, but there was quite a few things that we do with the mouth. So I feel I have perhaps wipe off, but I had at least 14 or 12 or 14 or perhaps even more functions of the mouth. And so we can see that Mother Eve is very vibrant through that modality of our makeup, of our creativity, I should say. So our creativity is now being called to be expressed, and we now need to take on this conviction of knowing what we are doing, not just asking anymore, although we are asked now to call on the called God. So the called God, of course, is the number one God right now. And when we say the number one, it's the gods are working in order. Now I'm going to, after this, give a nice, well, I was about to say give a nice, yes, give a nice illustration or presentation on how we can work with all the 14 gods harmoniously. And that was an insight for me, how we can do this. Now that was done on the 11/11/11 for me. That was one of my downloads. So here we had these are in order, the gods are in order here of how they come in or present themselves in the Bible, in the scriptures. And I'm talking about the King James version of the Holy Bible. But now we are seeing that Mother Eve is really telling us to swap this created God with the numerical value of 2. Of course, 2 is harmony. 2 is like, as we say, you're planting seeds. And so 2 is really appropriate. But now, Mother Eve has asked us to really be here. These 2 gods seem to have swapped positions. And now we need to be saying, I call upon the gods, I call upon the called God, or I call upon the created God, and so on. So here we can see that this is so, this is a wonderful revelation, because there we could also see the reference in all the stories, the biblical stories, how the called God seemed to have been the first call, the first God of on action. He was of the call. It's like you have an emergency. The first thing you do, you call. You call 999. You dial. It's a call. When we speak on the phone, it's a call. Whatever we are doing, we are calling. Whenever we are speaking, we are calling. And that's what Mother Eve wants us to know. So I'm going to end this presentation here. But do join me again, where I will have an illustration about how we can work with the 14 gods. Because when we think of 14 gods, we think, well, how am I going to do, who am I going to call, or how do I work harmoniously with the gods? How am I going to function through the gods? But this is what we are going to address in the next presentation. Thank you. Let there be light, and there was light. Okay. Words of the said God, Mother Eve.